Hey ladies, welcome to the Mob's Fireside Chats. We're going to do this Google Hangout so we can put it on the team page and you guys can learn from it and watch it and share it, and it'll be a good direction on how to do BBLs and how to host them for yourself. So listen in. Here we go. Can you just look at the screen and just make sure that you can see it clear?
Yep.
I can't see from here. If you say we're good, then we're good.
Yep. I think we're good.
All right. Welcome, all our consultants. Welcome online. Hello to our guests. We have a few. We are so excited that you guys came. We were going to do another fireside chat after the new year because they were so popular in December, and we had so many requests for them. And although it's not cold enough, we're going to pretend because it should be winter right now. It should not be 78 degrees, Tina. I know you love it.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to start off first by talking about the doctors, because after all, that's why we're here. That's what brought us all here. They're the ones that started this ultimately 30 years ago, as crazy as it sounds. And they're amazing women. We've all seen them up close at convention. They're just as genuine in person as they are on their videos on Facebook. They're awesome entrepreneurs, and of course, they're amazing dermatologists. And I think that's why. That's truly why I got started, because of the credibility that comes along with these doctors. And where it began is, we've all heard of Proactive, right? Is there anybody who hasn't heard of Proactive? You've heard of Proactive?
I use Proactive.
You use Proactive. Okay, so that's the common denominator. So many people have either used Proactive or have heard of it, or they had a friend or their parents bought it 15 years ago. And so we all knew that name, credibility, that recognition, that trust that we have with a brand like Proactive. And so that's where these doctors are coming from. So in the 90s, they started Proactive. And believe it or not, as successful as they were even then, they didn't have a lot of support coming into a new market like infomercials. And so they came out there and said, we're going to do infomercials. We don't really know much about them. It's a totally new channel we're going to dive into. We're usually behind the counters helping our customers, but we want to do this. And they didn't get a lot of support. But what did they do? They just did it. They jumped into it, and they were really, really successful. So much so that Proactive is an $8 billion brand all on its own. It owns 80% of the acne market. And being so wildly successful with that brand, they knew after their customers had so much success, even myself, I used Proactive for how many years? 10 years. They knew that they had to come out with something more. And so they wanted a namesake brand, Rodan & Fields. And what they wanted to do is create an anti-aging line where their customers could come out of Proactive as a teen, young adult, and go into something like adult acne, like sensitive skin, like sun damage and hyperpigmentation. And of course, the one that trumps everybody is anti-aging. And so they really wanted to come to the marketplace with something like that, where they could share it with everybody, but also they would have a new channel to do this in. But when they started, they didn't know what they were going to do. They put it into department stores like everybody else. So we're next to Clinique, Estee Lauder, all the big name brands in the big name department stores, Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom's. And we've been in those department stores, and they were doing okay. They were successful. People were buying them. People knew that it was a good brand. They knew it was premium skincare. But when they did their research and they did their surveys, they figured out that people were not coming in because the Nordstrom's paid all this marketing and advertising, and they drew people in. They were coming in because of word of mouth marketing. And that is the forefront of our everyday life now more than anything else. And so they decided, after much anticipation and debating, that they were going to, again, 10, 20 years later, enter a new channel, which is direct selling. And once again, people came to them, even as successful as they are, and they said, this is crazy. Do you know the stigma that comes with direct selling? And they said, yeah, we do. But do you know that this is so, so different? We're not like any other brand. We're the only brand to come from behind glass counters and go into the direct selling channel. And we're the only brand to come with this credibility. And I think that's what stopped me in my tracks. When I first heard of Rodan & Fields, I didn't know who they were, but I knew who Proactive was. And that was kind of enough for me, where I was like, they're successful. They work. They're premium skincare. They're just like Estee Lauder. They're just like Clinique. They're behind those counters, and they're successful. And so in 2008, they dove into direct selling, and they were super successful. That year, there was over 100 companies that tried to get into the direct selling channel, and we were one of 7 that they accepted. It's a super, super intense process to get in. You have to pass all these regulations, and you have to maintain those regulations every year, which is what we do. That way it is a legal, perfectly great form of business, and it's a great business model, and the doctors recognize that. And they knew this is something that they could not miss out on. Even in 2008, before Facebook was too popular because I think in 2008 it was still for Facebook for college students, and before Facebook Live and before selfies, they saw something and they knew that this is something big and they could not miss out on it. And lo and behold, here we are, almost 9 years later out of department stores. We are going to be this year, it hasn't come out officially yet, but the #1 premium skincare brand, ahead of everybody, ahead of all the big dogs, and that's huge, and that speaks volumes. And we are the only one that is privately owned and privately held, and we don't spend a dime on marketing or advertising. That in itself says so much about who our doctors are and the brand recognition and the free press and the images that we get on a weekly basis on all the big names and the shows and then the magazines and online. We don't have to work as hard as everybody else, because when your products work and they deliver clinically proven results, and you have picture after picture after picture to prove it, and testimony after testimony, you don't have to work as hard when they truly work. And I think we've all seen that lately with Lash Boost. I don't think it hasn't worked for anybody here, and I think that's a testimony to the products and the brand and the doctors. So that's kind of why I think a lot of us are here, is because we feel good representing a brand that is this credible. A lot of those other direct selling companies, it would take a while for you to kind of get used to the idea, and then you had to talk yourself into it, and then 3 people talked you out of it. But with Rodan & Fields, this is a business where it makes sense. It truly makes sense. And that's kind of the why I started, I think, is because of those doctors. But a little bit about my story. My sister-in-law, Kelly, who you all met, we're already past over a year ago. She knew that we were in a really hard financial spot. And in 2015, my husband lost his oil field job. He'd been working in the oil field for over 5 years and made an awesome 6-figure salary. And we sat really comfortably, and we never wanted or needed for a plan B. And I never really thought that we would need one or have to have one. But we had a toddler, and I was 6 months pregnant, and we were due in the summertime. And in February of 2015, he made it through 4 rounds of layoffs. So we really thought we were good. We thought we were going to be fine. He got laid off. And then a week later, we had even more horrible news. And we had no plan B. We had a nice savings, but it was all for house renovation. So that went all to live on. And we didn't even think about Rodan & Fields. It wasn't even in the books. We had no idea. I actually kind of thought he would find a job of equivalent salary, but in today's market, that's hard to do. That's hard to go back and find something that you were doing, especially when you're in something as specialized as the oil industry. That's really hard to go get a 6-figure salary with something that it's just a hard thing to be in. And we didn't have a plan B, bottom line. And going back, I wish we would have had a plan B, because that would have really saved us. It would have kept us floating. So go on through 2015. And Kelly actually signed up with Rodan & Fields a few weeks before I did. And she said, "Oh my gosh, you have to try this. Everybody's known I've had acne and I picked at my face here and there." And I said, "Well, that's great, but I can't afford it. We don't even have we took a 50% pay cut, and I'm not going to spend any money on skincare because that's not a priority for me right now." And so she said, "Fine, I believe in this so much that I'm going to give you Unblemished, this purple one. Try it and just tell me what you think. Just use it." And I used it for 1 week, Thanksgiving till December 1st, about a week. And I said, "Oh my gosh, my face is so different. Completely dried out, completely different looking." It wasn't 100%, but oh my gosh, it was night and day difference. And I could totally tell. And I knew, and I kind of sat there in the bathroom before I sent her my before and after picture. And of course, as soon as I sent it to her, she's like, "Can I post this?" And I'm like, "Oh no." Because if anybody saw it, I knew, being how I am on Facebook already and how a lot of us are, I knew if I tell somebody about this stuff I'm using, whether it's skincare or lipstick or where we went to the movies, they're going to want to buy it and use it and tell about it. And so that recognition online, I kind of knew if she told anybody, they're going to want to order it from her and not from me. But the only problem was I didn't know how we were going to sign up and buy a business kit when we had this huge pay cut and didn't even have any money to buy the regimen in the first place. But I saw the business opportunity, and I knew we just couldn't miss out on it. It was just something, and I've never done direct selling before. Never really wanted to be that person on Facebook. I truly didn't. I didn't want to. But little did I know, looking back over a year later, this has made life so much more positive, so much more positive. But I took $395 out of our 401k, because that's really the only place that we could have gotten it, on a hope and a prayer, and decided that we were going to invest it in a business opportunity. It was a write-off. That was fine. So December 1st is when I started, of 2015, and I took the $395 out, and I started, and I didn't really know. I remember sitting on the kitchen counter doing it, and she's like, do the express enrollment. And I'm like, what? No. Like, I just kept thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. This sounds crazy. I can't believe I'm doing this. And it was literally the best thing, the best decision we ever made. Because now, 13 months later, I posted today about payday. I've, in 5 months, made over what a teacher makes in the state of Texas in 5 months doing this business. And God, if you told us that, I'd been like, no, maybe I'll make a couple $100. But slowly my check has grown every month. And this past year, I totaled our team's volume, and we almost hit $1 million in volume for 1 year of skincare. And that to me is just crazy. Skincare is popular. It's like real estate. Everybody needs it and everybody wants it, huh, Regina? Yeah. And it's not going anywhere. Everybody wants it. So I just thought there's something to this, and our team's growing, and now Kelly and I, our team's over 150 people, and that's incredible to think that we started with one last year at this time. Really, there was still just us last year. My first consultant didn't sign up till January 18th, and she was a PC first. And I just feel like you don't forget the stories that really mean a lot, and this has totally changed life for us. To be able to say I doubled my husband's income is crazy, and then it's just growing every month. And really, we look at my pay and not his now, and that's, to me, it's incredible. And this year, for sure, he'll be able to not work and be able to come home and do exactly what he wants to do. And I don't think we ever would have thought that was possible until retirement, because that's kind of what you decide when you're retired. You'll do what you want to do. But we're going to fast forward 30 years and do that now. So I think that speaks volumes for the brand and the doctors and what this business can really, really do. So with that, I'm going to introduce Tina. Tina was one of my first couple consultants. She was a preferred customer first, and she loves skincare. She's a skincare junkie, and it took a little bit, and she decided that she couldn't miss out on it either. So, Tina.
You can squeeze through.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm Tina. Most of you guys I know, but so my journey started with Rodan and Fields 11 months ago. And I started, I can't even believe it's been almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
My anniversary is February 18th of next month. And so I started this journey basically just following Tracy, watching her posts and seeing her before and after pictures. I've always been, she said,
Sorry.
I had used a Baji for 10 years. Had been totally in love with Baji, had no intentions of ever stopping. But I'd recently been to the dermatologist, and they told me that it really wasn't working for me anymore. So she just thought that maybe it was something else that I needed to try or do something else. So I kept seeing her posts, and finally we chit-chatted probably for a few weeks, and I finally decided, okay, I'm going to buy a regimen. So I bought the reverse regimen, and literally within 3 or 4 days, 5 days, I was just in love with the product. Not even so much what it had already done to my skin, but just the way it felt. I mean, it was just, that was the first wow. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. So I talked to my husband. My husband works for the Highway Patrol. He travels a lot. He's gone quite a bit, anywhere from 18 to 27 days out of the month he's gone. So I have tons and tons of free time. I have grandkids, and they all live close to me, and I'm very active. They all run me ragged most of the time. I'm going from one sport to another sport, and they're all involved, but it really wasn't and isn't for me. And I, in the back of my mind, thought that if I could do this and have this girl time and get back into, having fun with girls again, that it would be super cool for me. And maybe I could make $300 or $400 a month, and maybe I could get a discount on my products. So my husband was like, yeah, go for it. If that's what makes you happy, do it. But in the back of my head, I was thinking, ooh, we could get a pool. That was what I was really wanting. That was my whole thing. I was like, that's what I want. I want a pool. So I joined February 18th. 9 days later, I had, $1,250 in my bucket. First 9 days of my check. So March 10th, I get paid. It was $557. I was like, this is awesome. I can do this every month. I was thinking, yeah, this is awesome. Well, fast forward to March, April, May, I hit level 5. And kind of the rest is semi-history. By this point, I'm making pretty good salary every month, a lot more than $300 or $400. That's what I'm going to say. And I have a really nice little nest egg set over here that I'm going to just sock it away from my pool. And life changes. And I'm going to do this without crying. And I have a son that's an addict. And he's 28 years old. And we made the decision as a family that we need to put him in counseling. And he needed to go away for a while. And we needed to get him into treatment. So we did an intervention at my home for his safety and for the fact that he needed to go because of legal issues. He was running down a path that wasn't going to be good, and we needed to get him to another place where he needed to be. So he went to treatment for 45 days. And without this business and without this extra cash, I would not have been able to help my ex-husband put him into a facility, leave him there for 45 days, help him get back out of treatment, help him every week go to counseling. He lives with me now. I got to be a part of his 6-month trip last Friday, which is 180 days sober. And he starts school on the 17th. And he's going to go to school to be a licensed chemical dependency counselor. He's got about 12 hours left, and he's finally found a purpose for the last 10 years of his sadness. And he knows now that he can do what he does and tell people and tell his story. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't have been able to do this without me, because he probably would have, and we would have found a way. But this is definitely a blessing that I've had this to help him to get to this next level. And now it is 11 months later. I have 61 girls that are on my team. I think I'll probably hit premier level 5 this year sometime at some point. I've gotten so many great things that have come out of it. So many unspoken blessings that I speak about on Facebook a lot of times. Those are my unspoken blessings, is him being sober and him being clean and where he is today. So it is a blessing. If you're thinking about joining for whatever reason, there's so many things that are such a blessing that other than just this, it's just financially life-changing in so many ways. So that's my story.
Awesome.
Now you want me to tell about this?
Yes. Yeah.
You want to tell?
Yes. No.
All right.
I'll let you do it.
This isn't my good part. So, all right, I'm gonna start with unblemished. This is for people that have bad acne or have cystic acne. Everything is multi-med. All products are formulated to one product is for the next product to the next product, so they all formulate together to give you the best results. The next one is going to be our Soothe, which is for sensitive skin. It's got a calming active ingredient in it. My grandkids, they live on this stuff. They use this for eczema. My granddaughter's always into something, spider bites, all kinds of different stuff. This is wonderful for. It's for very sensitive skin. So anybody that's got rosacea, it calms your skin down and takes away the redness. The next one over there is the orange one or the yellow one, which is the reverse, which is what I use. This is for sun damage, melasma, dark spots, just basic sun aging, sun damage. And there's also an accelerated kit that comes with that that's now in a 4-step regimen also, which is what I'm using, and I love it. I'll probably always use it. They say to not use it on a continuous basis, but I have literally used it for the last 7 months, and I love it. It's amazing. And then also on the end is the Redefine, which is I use that one also in the evening with the roller, with the night serum, with the clay mask, the toner, and it works wonderful. So those two, the reverse and the Redefine, is what I use in the evening or morning and the evening. We also have, obviously, we have our lash boost, which is like gold to everybody, I think, right now. It's just, I don't know anybody that hasn't had good results from it, honestly. It's just been, amazing for everybody.
Yeah.
We have a shave kit. My husband uses the Soothe. He's bald, so he shaves every day. He uses this on his head every single day. Never has any razor stubble. Never, never anything on his face or anything. They're all just such great products, and they are, all multi-med. They all come with a sunscreen. The reverse, is it 50?
Mm-hmm.
Has 50, which I don't even think anybody else has 50 in any kind of, sunscreen at that. So yeah, there they all are. So
Good job. Thanks.
anybody else?
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk a little bit about the roller too. So the roller won the Stevie Award, and it's actually acupuncture grade needles on it, so they are not going to puncture your face. They're not going to hurt your face. It doesn't hurt. It just feels like a cat scratch sort of type of sensation. I don't think I've known anybody that says it hurts. But the roller won the Stevie Award, and I say that because in 2008, Apple won the Stevie Award it's not for direct selling products, it's for consumer products of all kinds. And the Apple iPhone won the award, which the iPhone, I mean, hello, there's how many versions of it? It's a huge thing. It's Apple. And we would expect that from Apple. Well, in 2013, our roller won the Stevie Award for consumer products. And I think that's a huge deal, and it speaks volumes about our doctors and the roller and the technology and what they put into our products. I think that's just huge. And I like to talk about that because people think Apple, well, we're right there up with an Apple or a Google or an Indeed in Austin. They're a huge company here. We're right there with all of them. And if you go to our corporate in San Francisco, it looks the exact same as Google. It's so innovative. They're so with it. They write on the walls. Our corporate staff is treated amazing. And in turn, they throw that back into our consultants and our corporate team. We have that. I think that's why we're unique from a lot of other direct selling companies is we have the back force and the back office that a lot of companies don't have and it doesn't come with. And you dial that number and you get the ring, and you can't figure out how to return it. You don't know what to do, and it's never ending. And our office and our corporate, they back everything we do. They back everything we say. They support us 110%. And if any of our customers need anything or we need anything, they're always doing it. And they're always coming out with things to boost our leadership. And those of us that went to convention were really, really impressed with the kind of convention that they put on. And we have a new product coming out here soon. And we're really excited about that. And a lot of people got to test it at convention. And they're just constantly working on new things. And the doctors with Lash Boost, they've been working on Lash Boost for 5 years. They came out with something 5 years ago, and they thought, it's not perfect. We're going to tweak it a little bit. And we're going to try and work on something new and bigger and better. And we don't want to give it to our consultants until it's perfect. And that's, in my opinion, exactly what they did because Lash Boost is perfect. I mean, it works for any and everybody, and we're all seeing amazing results as long as you can take a good before picture. Then we're all seeing that. There's an Amber Alert.
Oh,
That's weird.
So I just like to end in saying that I really think this business can be for anybody. I think we're all busy. We just have to define our busy and what's important to us. And hello, Tina's 55 to me being 30 now. I'm not even in my 20s anymore. But anybody can do this business. It doesn't matter. You can be a teacher. You can be an architect. You can work at capital. You can be a realtor. You can be, a grandma, or you can be somebody with new young kids. There's nobody. We have men on our team too. There's not one single person that's alike. But I like, in a lot of ways too, is that our team is really special. And I think when you join, save the Lash Boost. I think when you join the Rodan Field team, it makes a huge difference on the team you join. And we, on the inside looking out, see a lot of people that are not as successful if they don't join a really good team. And I think we have that special sauce, if you want to call it, on our team. The training, what we have from our dream team, our leader, Debbie Coder, that's brought all the way down, all the way to just the bond that we have and what we do on our Facebook pages. And we make it very duplicatable. And a lot of teams don't teach that. And I think it makes it easy to where with our team, you don't have to come up with everything. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You have a really good example and you have people to coach you, and they're not just going to throw you out there and hope that you swim. They're going to help you every step of the way. So that's all I got. Thank you guys for coming. Do y'all have any questions that you want to ask while we're still live for everybody to watch and listen to? No? But when I turn it off, you're going to ask something. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.